tell you that you can proceed. You're gonna then go off of the Zoom meeting with them. You have to have your peer monitor there, and they ask you ahead of time who your peer monitor is going to be. That is someone who's in your house with you at the time that you trust, and you have to have that peer monitor there, or you also cannot move forward. They have to physically come and say hello, come to the camera, come into the meeting and say hello, and then the guide will get the phone number of your peer monitor, and they'll send text messages back and forth if needed. But all your peer monitor's job really is to come in every 15 minutes while they are having their experience and just check on them. Check on them every 15 minutes and then quietly leave the room, and make sure that pets don't come in or somebody doesn't make a noise outside of the room, because it has to be very quiet for it to work. Any little thing will change the whole dynamic in your head. They call ketamine a non-specific amplifier of your psychic state at any given time. So any little thing can change your psychic state and change your whole experience. Wow. So then what you do, you actually have to go to the bathroom. They tell you this. They tell you go to the bathroom if you have to pee. Just make sure you pee before you do this, because you don't want to get the urge to pee while you're going through the experience. And then once you do that, you come back, put the lozenges into your mouth. Like I said, either under your tongue or in the pads of your cheeks. And you hold your head forward and you hit play on the first track for session 1. And that is actually a little speech that someone gives that's very interesting and insightful. It's stuff that you kind of know, but you really need to think about it. So that speech is about 6.5 minutes long. So you're just listening to that while you have your head down, and this stuff is dissolving in your mouth. And I noticed that I didn't have exactly enough spit. I guess I did, but I didn't, and I could feel that they were still more solid. So I did move my mouth around a little bit, and they did break apart. They do just softly break apart and crumble and dissolve into your mouth. But that helped with the spit, and it just helped them dissolve a little faster within that 7 minutes. Then you spit that out into your spit cup when 7 minutes is over, and you play the music track that you have selected. There's a couple different tracks that you can play. You can listen to them beforehand. Put that on, preferably with earbuds or headphones, because you don't want to hear anything on the outside. Put the eye mask on, lay back, and off you go. My experience, I really cannot describe with words what my experience was like. The only thing I think I can do to articulate it to you is to show you with images. And I'm going to put some music to it too, this is the best I can do. It was very intense, but it was like this. So yeah, you could see that there was some scary stuff in there. There were moments when I was uneasy. The cool part is that even though you're uneasy, at least with me, I didn't totally freak out, panic, get terrified, nothing like that. Because you're disconnected from yourself, you're more just sort of observing it and, oh, that's, wow, You don't know what it means, you're just watching it. There was one point when there was sort of an epiphany moment in there, but I didn't realize it was an epiphany until later. And it was right after that epiphany that I felt like I was floating up off of the bed. See, if I thought about where I was, I knew where I was. Just in case you're worried that you're gonna just fly away and not know who you are or where you are, it's not that intense. If you think about it, I knew, yes, I am doing this MINDBLOOM thing, and yes, I'm laying on my bed, and yes, I know that it's only going to take 30 to 45 minutes, and that's really important to know. This is not a trip that you're on for like 8 hours. If anybody ever did any experimentation in their day, this is not something that lasts so long. So if you're stuck in it and you're miserable, you're gonna have to deal with it for hours and hours and hours. That's not how it is at all. It was about 42 minutes for me altogether. And that's exactly right in the time frame that it was supposed to be. And again, you're disconnected from your emotions. So you're just feeling certain ones at certain times, but you're not freaking out or panicking. At least I wasn't. I wasn't thinking about who I was or where I was. There's a disconnect for sure. But right after that moment that turned out to be an epiphany that I figured out after the fact, that's when I felt like I was literally floating off the bed, like I was levitating, and it was the coolest, most euphoric feeling. And I thought to myself, I know I'm laying on this bed, and I know that I'm not levitating, but man, it sure feels like it. And it was just so awesome. Then, you know, after that, a couple more things happened visually inside of myself. And then I very gently, very softly just landed slowly back into myself. And I started to think, okay, what time is it? How long have I been here? I need to start journaling soon. And I started to have my regular thoughts slowly come back in. So I did lift up my eye mask and I peeked at my watch and I'm like, oh, okay, it's 42 minutes. Cool. When I was ready, I sat up and I began to journal. You have to do that. That's exactly what they tell you, because you're gonna get out of your sessions what you put in. So if you are only doing it for the trip and you're not actually trying to make sense out of it, unpack it, integrate it, it's not going to do anything for you. You'll still be stuck in your rut. So I journaled for over a half an hour, everything. They want you to just write this unbiased, uncensored stream of consciousness, whatever it is that comes out of your head. Do that for the next, half hour or however long you have until you need to get back on the Zoom with your guide. So I journaled everything that happened because I remembered it. I remembered every single thing and I wanted to capture it. So that's what I journaled. And they did say it's going to fade. So try to get down as much of it as you can, as quickly as you can. I got it all down. And I did slowly start to lose it after that. So I'm so glad that I wrote it down, because rereading it days later, I had some very interesting insights. At first I was like, okay, well this is fine and great and everything, but what does that have to do with my situation? And what does that have to do with my mental health? And how do I apply this so that it helps me in my mental health? But believe it or not, it comes to you. It comes to you when you're not thinking about it. Let it go and you'll realize. And it's not like this giant, oh, this is it, I got it. Like I solved my entire life's problems with one thing. No, it's like, it's little nuanced ways of seeing things, or you're shifting perspective and how you normally approach things versus how you can differently approach things. Things will come to you that never occurred to you before, and this was just with one session, and there's 5 more to go. So it's really neat. And I will tell you this is also so important.